Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I am re-recording the audio for this video, so if the audio looks like it's not matching the video, that is why. So as you can see here, I'm showing you what you need for this session. Ideally, if you have a chair, some blocks, and a strap, that is great. If you don't have a strap, you can find something for substitute or something to substitute for blocks like books or something, but ideally try to have a chair for this session. The point of this session is to try and have a nice easy stretch, nice relaxing stretch. And these things are there to help support you if you feel like you're going to need a little bit more support. Now, we're going to start off by sitting up nice and tall. So just sit in your nice, comfortable seated position. If you feel more comfortable sitting in the chair or up against a wall to help support your back, that is okay. You can go ahead and do that. And just go ahead and sit in a cross-legged position or in a similar position to myself and try to sit up nice and tall, shoulders are relaxed, and just go ahead and close the eyes so you can start to focus on your breath. And we're going to start to inhale deeply through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And as you exhale, just focus on really releasing the tension. And again, we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale, releasing the tension even further and allowing yourself to feel relaxed, but try to remain seated nice and tall. Again, focusing on that breath. Now take a moment to think of something that you're grateful for. And think to yourself, I am grateful for, and fill in the blanks for something that is true to you, something that feels honest, that you feel very grateful to have in your life. And let that gratitude fill you with a sense of energy, with some positive emotions. And as you inhale, hold on to that gratitude. And as you exhale, allow a gentle smile to creep across your face. And just hold on to that sense of gratitude, that positive energy, and continue to focus on the breath for a little bit longer. Allowing the body to feel completely relaxed, releasing the tension of the day. And really focus on filling the lungs as much as you can as you inhale. And really focus on releasing all the air. Get rid of every ounce of air that you can on those exhales. Resting the eyes, sitting tall, sitting comfortably. Good. Now start to stretch out the neck a little bit. Keep the breath, keep that tall posture, and just start to roll the neck around from one side to the other. Or if you feel that you have a particular kink, you can focus on that area a little bit more. Do what feels good to you. But just start by exhaling and rolling from one side to the other. Inhale on that side, and then exhale and roll over to the other side. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to work out any kinks in your neck. Now let's focus on the shoulders. So just rolling the shoulders front to back around in one direction. Get your elbows up a little higher. Try to get that full range of motion. Again, do what feels good to you here. So focusing on the shoulders, doing what feels right to you with the shoulders. But if you can get that full range of motion and going around in the opposite direction, continuing to breathe, inhaling deeply through the nose as you roll the shoulders forward. getting the elbows as high as they can. And now interlacing the fingers and pressing them forward, bringing the chin in towards the chest, roll the spine out and breathing in deeply into the shoulder blades and the upper back. You'll feel the expansion. On the exhale, we'll release. Sit up nice and tall, going in the opposite direction, interlacing the fingers behind you, looking up, stretching in the front. Stretching in the chest and in the front of the shoulders. Inhaling here. Feel the expansion in the front of the body. And release. Relax. And we're just going to start to walk the hands forward. Try to keep that nice long spine as you lean forward, hinging from the hips. Imagine you have a string that's pulling you, that's attached to your spine all the way down from the tailbone, and it's pulling through the top of your head, trying to keep the spine nice and long. As you inhale, feel the expansion in the back of the body. And as you exhale, allow yourself to hinge a little further. When you're ready, listening to the body, coming forward a little bit further. Letting the body come closer to the floor. And you'll feel the stretch in the outer thighs and the hip. Continuing to expand on the inhale. Relax on the exhales and just go as far as the body is willing to go. Listen to the body. And as you exhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine. This will help you create space, and it'll help allow you to move a little bit further. Now, if you want, you can kind of shift from side to side if that feels good to you. I like to do a little bit of shifting. It kind of helps bring a little bit of movement. Help stretch out a little bit more into one side of the hip and then the other. If you feel best just holding it, that's fine. And on an inhale, we're going to sit up. Now we're just going to switch legs. On the exhale, doing the same thing for the opposite side. Keeping that long spine. Remember that string that's pulling from the top of your head and it's reaching all the way down the tailbone. Keep that long and engaged spine. Inhale deeply, expand. And on the exhale, pull the belly button in to help create space. When you're ready, allow the body to just fall towards the floor. And again, you can add that shifting from side to side if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, then you don't have to do it. Do what feels good to you. This is just another option. Continuing to breathe. Inhale, we'll roll up. Sitting up nice and tall. Get rid of any kinks in the neck if you have any more. And we're going to do a side stretch. So inhaling the arm up, really get that reach, feeling tall. On the exhale, start to lean over, keeping that reach. You can use the block or the chair at this point if you want a little extra support. You can keep the arm reaching up instead of overhead. Do what feels right. We'll inhale here, feel the expansion in the side of the ribs. Exhale, keep the lift, keep the reach, and try to open up the chest and look up towards the ceiling if you can. And again, if you aren't going as far as I am, if you're up a little bit higher, that's okay. Do what feels right. Just go as far as the body is willing to go to help deepen the stretch. Continuing to breathe, expanding on the inhales. Seeing if you can go a little deeper on the exhales. And on the next inhale, we'll sit up tall. Exhale, release the arm. Good, and we're just going to repeat on the opposite side. So move your block or your chair over, inhale the arm up, reach, reach, reach on the exhale, leaning over to the side if it's comfortable, if it feels good. Finding that place where the side stretch is easy to do and you just feel this nice opening stretch in the side of the body. Inhaling and expanding. Exhaling. See if you can open up the chest, look up towards the ceiling if it's comfortable. Find that place where you can hold the stretch. Focusing on the breath. It can sometimes help to close the eyes so you can really focus inward on how you're feeling, what the body is telling you is good. On the next inhale, we're going to sit up. Exhale, release the arm. Good. Stretch out the shoulders of the neck if you feel the need to again. Great. So we're going to come up now onto our hands and knees. Continuing to breathe, we're going to do some cat-cows. So the arms are, or the hands are below the shoulders, the knees below the hips. On the inhale, we're going to curve the spine down and look up. And on the exhale, go the opposite way. Press the spine up towards the ceiling, bring the chin in towards the chest, and pull that belly button in. Press, press, press into those arms and those hands on the floor. Inhaling, looking up, curving the spine down. Exhaling, opposite direction, and really try to press as far as you can comfortably in both directions, going with the flow of your own breath. As you inhale, looking up, spine curves down. As you exhale, pull the belly button in, curve the spine up towards the ceiling. Just go with the flow of your own breath. You might go slower, you might go a little faster. Do whatever feels right. Good. So now let's incorporate the chair. So ideally, if you have one of these types of folding chairs I have in the video, that's great because they're easy to move around. If you don't, just use what you have. We're going to put our elbows on the chair, bring the hands together in a prayer position, and just walk the knees back so they're about below the hips. Just drop the head between the arms, and we're going to get a really deep shoulder stretch. And I'm showing you here in the video, if your legs are too close, then you're not going to be able to get the stretch. So really walk the knees back, let the head drop between the arms, breathe, inhaling deeply, exhale all the air, and just enjoy this deep stretch in the shoulders, going as far as is comfortable. Good, we'll come out of that. And we'll just go into another shoulder stretch, but now the hands are on the chair. We're walking the hands back, or the knees back a little further. Firmly press the hands onto the chair. Allow the body to fall between the arms towards the floor. Let the back curve. Inhaling deeply, exhaling here. And this is known as a variation of puppy pose. So inhaling deeply into our puppy pose. Exhaling, release the tension, allow the body to drop towards the floor. Find that place where it's easy to hold, you're feeling the stretch. Good. We're going to gently come up, rolling up in the shoulders and in the back. Breathing. I'm going to step 1 foot forward. I'm stepping my left foot forward into a low lunge. Use the chair for support if you want to. Or you can release the chair, bring the hands to the leg to keep your support. Or if you feel comfortable, reach the arms up overhead And really lean forward to get that full stretch in the hip flexor in the front of that leg and that hip. Inhaling, reaching. Make sure that foot in front is stepped forward enough so you can get that full range of motion. Inhaling, feel the reach, feel the expansion. Exhale, keep the lift. And if you want, you can release the arms down towards the hips. If it's hard to hold them up, this is another option. Good. We're going to come out of that by straightening that front leg. And if you want to remain seated tall, that's fine. If you feel comfortable to deepen the stretch, you can lean forward. And this is a good time if you want to grab your blocks, or you can use your chair for support. This is our half split, and we're just going to stretch out that front leg. Inhaling, trying to keep that length in the spine like when we started. And you can turn your blocks in a different way to make them a little bit longer if you need extra support. And try going back and forth between flexing the foot and pointing the toe. And notice the difference in the stretch. Which one do you like more? Where do you feel tighter? Focusing on the breath. Keeping that long spine. Alright, we're going to turn so that way that straight leg is off to the side. We're going to do another side stretch. So inhaling, I have my right arm up, my left arm is coming down the leg. And this is just another side stretch. Going as far as you can comfortably. Opening up in the chest, keeping that long reach, keeping tall, focusing on the breath. Looking up if it's comfortable on the neck. If you need to be up higher, if leaning over to the side is not going to happen, that's okay. Do what feels good to you. And we're going to come out of that, and we're going to go the opposite direction. So the hand can come to the floor, or you can grab your block, reach the arm overhead, getting a nice long line from the fingertips to the heel that's on the floor. Breathing in, feeling the expansion, opening up in the chest, and try looking up towards the ceiling if you can. Inhaling, expand, keeping that reach, keeping that lift. Exhale, keep the lift, keep the reach. We're going to come out of that. We're just going to gently lean forward and focus on stretching the inner thigh here. So you might be able to come down low like I am in the video. You might be a little bit higher up like so. Either one is absolutely fine. Feel it out for yourself. But you'll notice the stretch in the inner thigh on that straight leg. That's where the focus is. So when you find the right place, just inhaling deeply. And again, the foot can be on the floor. You might be up on your heel. Either is fine. Just holding it here, focusing on the stretch, focusing on your breath. We'll come out of that. Coming back to that forward lunge, bring your blocks with you. We're going to bring that knee back. And we're going to repeat on the opposite side. So bring the opposite foot forward into that low lunge. Use your chair for support if you want. Or bring your hands to that front leg, the front thigh. Or raise the arms overhead. Inhale, reach. Feel that deep stretch in that hip flexor on that left side. And if you want to bring the arms down to the hips, that is another option here. Just try to keep open in the chest as you do this. If you can, look up towards the ceiling. Opening up in the hips. Feel the expansion. And we'll straighten that front leg into our half split. Start by being tall. Try hinging forward. Use your chair, use your blocks for support. Find the place where you can feel the stretch. Keep that nice long spine. Focus on the breath, inhaling deeply. And then start to shift the foot between a pointed and a flexed foot. Going back and forth, notice which one feels better. You can pick your favorite. You can go back and forth. Just notice the difference. Notice which one feels better, which one feels tighter. Continuing to breathe. Good. So let's add that turn. So I'll be turning away from you to keep that straight leg off to the side. Adding in that side stretch so the right arm comes down the right leg, the left arm reaches up. And if you can add a little bit of a reach overhead with the lean, go ahead to help deepen the stretch, but try to remain lifted. Breathing here, feel the stretch, feel the expansion in the side of the body. And then we'll go the opposite direction, bringing the block to the floor or putting your hand on the floor, reaching the right arm up overhead if you can. Getting that nice long line from the fingertips to the foot on the floor. Inhale, feel the expansion. Exhale, keep the reach. Open up the chest, look up towards the ceiling if you can. Good. Release. Add that forward lean. Get in that inner thigh stretch here. Use your blocks for support. Continuing to breathe. Good. We'll come out of that. Start turning back towards the chair. Going back towards that lunge position. We'll bring that knee back. Bringing your blocks forward towards your chair so they're nearby. We're going to come up to our feet. Go into a modified down dog. So again, the hands are firmly planted on the chair. The feet are hip width apart. And we're walking the feet back so they're right below the hips. Now if the knees need to be bent here, that is okay. What we want is a nice flat back. We don't want the back to curve up at all. We want the nice flat back. So if you need to bend the knees deeply to get that nice flat back, that's okay. If you need a little bit more lift, you can add your blocks to the chair to lift up a little bit more. And up here I'm showing you can bend the knees. But what we want is a nice flat back. We don't want that curved spine in this position. So allow the body to fall between the arms like we did earlier in our puppy pose. The hands are firmly planted on our blocks or on our chair. We're focusing on our breath. Inhaling, continue to reach. The feet are firmly planted, planting the toes. Try not to have the feet close together. Try to keep them hip width apart. Continuing to breathe. Allow the body to accept the pose and open up. We're going to come out of that and we're going to step one foot forward. I'm stepping my left foot forward into a high lunge. Use the chair or the blocks in front of you for support. You can come off of that with the arms on the leg, or you can reach the arms up overhead Continuing to find that reach. Front foot is planted firmly. The back foot, we're still on the toe in a full lunge. Inhaling and reach, reach, reach. And we're going to come out of that into our warrior two by turning out. The hips open up. That back foot is planted. And the arms come off to the side. Try to look forward over that front arm if you can. Inhaling here. Again, if the arms ever need a break, feel free to rest them on the hips and then bring them back when they're ready. Hips are open, the chest is open. Get as deep in that front knee as you can go to really open up in the inner thighs. We're going to straighten that front leg and move into a triangle. Leaning over towards your chair with the blocks if they're there, opening up towards the ceiling, the other arm up. Inhaling, try to open up in the chest. If you need a gentle bend in the knee and that front leg, that's okay. Focusing on inhaling and expanding. Exhaling, keep the reach, keep the lift. We're opening up in that inner thigh. Now we're going to add in another side stretch here. So we're going to bend in that front knee. Reach that arm overhead if we can, or we can still reach up towards the ceiling. Use the chair, the blocks for support. Get a nice long line from the fingertips to that heel on the floor. Focusing on the breath, remaining lifted. And we'll come out of there, straighten that front leg. We'll deepen the stretch a little bit more into a deeper triangle if you can. And inhaling, come up. Release the arms if they're up. Good. And we're going to turn forward now. Come into our warrior one. So the hips point forward. Bend in that front knee like a lunge again, but that back heel remains firmly planted on the floor. Really plant that heel, you'll feel the stretch all in that back calf up in the leg. The hips point forward, the shoulders point forward. Rest the arms on the leg, lift the arms up overhead if you can. Get as deep in that front knee as you can. Inhale, reach, feel the length. Look up between the hands if that's okay. Exhale. Bring the hands in front of you into a prayer pose. Straighten that front leg and we're going to lean forward, hinging from the hips. Keep that back nice and straight. You can step that back foot forward a little bit if you need to. So you can lean forward, hinging from the hips, back is straight, going as far as you can. Let the body completely support itself. And you might not be going as far as me, you might be going further. Either is fine. Focus on keeping the length. Keep that nice long spine from the tailbone to the head. Focus on the breath. Holding it here. And we'll release the hands onto the chair, onto our blocks for support and focus on the stretch. Continue to find that nice long line from the tailbone to the head. As you exhale, see if you can come down a little further, bringing the arms onto the blocks, onto your chair, onto the forearms if possible. Only go as far as the body will allow. If you're not going this far, that's okay. Focusing on the breath. Good. Come out of that, come back to the hands. What we're going to do is go into a reverse triangle. So just hop the back foot forward a little bit if you need to. Plant that right hand down and we're going to twist. So keeping that nice long line in the spine, twisting against the leg in the front. You can keep that hand on the hip. If you feel comfortable, you can reach the arm up towards the ceiling to deepen the twist. So just be very mindful about how far the body is willing to go again. Try to keep the feet firmly planted as we twist in this reverse triangle with support, using the chair, using the blocks. You can even plant one block on top of the other if you need to be up a little bit higher. And we'll release. Step that front foot back. We'll come back into our modified downward dog. Breathe. Hands are firmly planted. Feet are planted below the hips, hip width distance. Don't have the feet together. That nice flat back. Try to relax here for a moment. Good. I'm going to repeat on the other side. So we're going to bring the opposite foot forward. I'm bringing my right foot forward into that lunge position. The chair for support, or if you can, reach up overhead, or the hands can be on the hips or on the front leg. Breathing here. Reach, reach, reach. If you're reaching overhead, stand tall if you're not. And we're going to open up and turn into our warrior two. So we plant that back heel. Reach the arms to the side if we have them out. Hips are open, chest is open, looking forward. Focusing on the breath. Try and get nice and deep in that front knee if we can. A little bit deeper. Opening up a little bit more. Good, and let's straighten that front leg. Readjust the feet if you need to, coming into our triangle so that right hand plants onto our blocks, onto our chair. The left arm reaches over, up towards the ceiling if comfortable. Opening up in the chest, opening up in the hips, focusing on the breath. If the arm needs a rest, you can bring it down to the hip. Otherwise, continue to reach and expand. Good. Let's go into that side stretch. Bending that front knee again, reaching the arm overhead or up towards the ceiling if possible. Trying to get that nice long line from the fingertips to the heel. Focusing on the breath. Remaining lifted on the exhales. And try to open up in the chest, looking up towards the ceiling if possible. And we'll release. Bring both hands back to the blocks. And we're going to keep that back foot planted. Turn the hips forward and move into warrior one. So again, if you are capable, if you feel up for it, bring the arms up towards the ceiling, or bring them to the hips, or continue to use your chair for support. Opening up, expanding. Exhale, let's bring those hands in prayer pose in front of the chest, straighten that front leg. Readjust the feet a little bit if you need to. Nice long spine hinging from the hips. Leaning forward. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. Feel the length. Feel the stretch. Allowing the body to support itself. You can have a little bend in that front knee if you need to. And we'll release the arms onto the chair, coming down to the forearms if you feel comfortable, or propping yourself up on your hands. Whichever you can do, just try to keep that nice neutral spine, hinging from the hips, flat back. Both heels are planted, legs are straight if possible, knees can be bent if need be. Focusing on the breath. Just find that place where you can enjoy the stretch. Always do what feels good. Okay, we're going to prop up onto our hands. Add in that twist. So the left arm is down, the right arm can come to the hip. Or if you feel like you can go a little further, reach that arm up towards the ceiling. Moving into our reverse triangle here. Both feet are firmly planted. The heels are firmly planted. We're lifting, twisting, expanding. Continuing to breathe. There's a lot going on here. Good. Let's release. Bring the hands to the chair. One last deep stretch here for a second. Step that foot back into our modified downward dog. And catch your breath here. Good. So remembering to breathe. Planting those feet, planting those hands. Get a good stretch here. And we're going to come forward and we're going to turn the chair around now. And we're just going to stretch out the front of the legs, the quads. So go ahead and grab a foot, pulling it in towards the glute. Try to keep the knee pointed straight down. And you'll feel the stretch coming up all the front of the leg. You might even feel it into the front of the hip. And if you can, try looking up, lifting through the chest. Breathing here. Holding it here. Feel the stretch. Remain lifted. The foot you're standing on is firmly planted. Keeping the lift. Keeping the stretch. Use the chair to help you balance. Good. And we'll release that side. And we'll just repeat on the other side. Doing the same thing. Pull that foot in. Feel the stretch all down the front of the leg, the front of the thigh, the hip, looking up, lift through the chest. And if you want to try working on your balance here, feel free to try letting go of the chair, but really try to focus on the stretch more than the balance at this point. Breathing, feeling lifted. Good. And we'll release that side. Roll out the wrists, roll out the ankles a little bit, give them a little attention, stretch out the toes, that sort of thing. Good. Now bring your chair to center, and we're going to sit on the chair and do a few easy stretches while seated. So opening up the legs, if you want, you can use your blocks underneath your feet to give them a little bit more lift. Just make sure that your heels are roughly just below the knees if possible. If you can't get your feet flat on the floor, this would be ideal. Good. So take a second to just adjust yourself here. Opening up in the legs, use your hands to kind of spread your legs open so you're in a deep squat position. Sitting up nice and tall, breathing here, feeling the lift, and as you exhale, see if you can allow yourself to just walk those hands down towards the ankles. If you feel comfortable, opening up a little bit more, depending on how much space you have in the body. And if you can go all the way down to the floor. And just really focus on opening up in the hips here. And if it's too far, you can use your blocks here as well to prop you up on your hands if that works better for you, or you can put your hands on the chair or something like that even. But find that place where you can hold it and feel that stretch in the inner thighs and in the hips. Try to keep the back flat if you can. Readjust in any way you need to. If you want to release the blocks, that's what I'm doing here. Find that place where the pose feels good. Just focusing on the breath. Inhaling deeply. And making sure the knees don't buckle in, like I was just showing there a second ago. Try to keep the knees right above the ankles, right above the heels. Opening up in the hips, allowing yourself to come lower down whenever you're ready. Find that place where you can feel the stretch and it feels good for you. If you're not as far down as I am, that is okay. You'll get there eventually. The point is to find where it works for you. Okay, and now we're going to carefully come out of that and just kind of bring the feet in front of you, heel toe them together. And we're going to do a seated pigeon pose or figure four. So just resting the ankle on the thigh, try to avoid the knee so you're not causing any damage on the joints. Just sitting up tall, take an inhale here, and this might be enough for you. If you want to make it a little deeper, go ahead and lean forward, try to keep the back straight, lift through the chest. Breathe here, that foot on the floor should be firmly planted. And if you have a little discomfort with your ankle on the leg, you can put a folded up blanket or something for a little bit of cushioning. Again, you can put a block underneath the foot on the floor. And if you find that your knee is a little lifted, you're not flat like I am in the video, that is okay. Again, you're not going to look the same as me. That is okay. Find what's right for you. Just really focus on your alignment as well. And now focusing on the breath when you find that place where you can hold the pose and feel the stretch. Leaning forward as you open up. Good. And we'll just release. Repeat on the other side. Find that place where your foot on the floor is firmly planted. Getting that ankle in a comfortable spot. Sit up tall and lean forward to help deepen the stretch. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling. Release the tension, but keep the length. And just try to enjoy the stretch as much as you can. Leaning into it. Sitting up tall if that's where it feels right for you. You can take some time here to stretch out the neck a little bit too. Good. We'll come up. We'll release that. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the floor. So I'm just kind of tucking my knees, my legs underneath the chair, so I'm on my knees. And we're going to go into a modified camel. And I'm just turning so you can see what I'm doing here. You don't have to do the same thing. So we're going into a modified camel using the chair. So find that place where you can put your hands on the chair. We're going to get a gentle back bend going. So we're lifting through the chest, pressing the hips forward, looking up if it's comfortable, and using the chair in any way to help prop you up so that way you're feeling supported, remaining lifted and long in the spine as you do this back bend. Good. And if you're up a little bit higher, that's okay. And find that place on the chair if you want to grab a different spot on the back or down the legs. That is okay. That is absolutely okay. Find the place where your arms feel most comfortable and you can support yourself. And just focus on the breath, remaining lifted. Try to press the hips forward as much as you can. You're probably going to need to clench the glutes here to help support the lower back. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, keep the lift and allow yourself to come a little further down whenever you're ready. Good. To carefully come out of it, walk yourself up. And we're just going to take a little bit of a break. Coming out of that into a child's pose. Move your chair out of the way if you need to. And do whatever version of child's pose feels good for you. So the arms can be forward, The arms can be beside you. Whatever feels most comfortable, so that way you get that nice relaxation in the back. Breathing in, feel the expansion in the lower back and in the ribs. Relaxing into it, release the tension. Good. We're going to come out of that, and we're going to come to a seated position. Just go ahead and move your chair out of the way. We're going to stretch one leg forward. Now at this point, if you need a strap, put the strap around the palm of the foot, the ball of the foot, and sit up nice and tall. Inhale deeply, pull the toes towards you to help deepen the stretch, and might be as far as you get. And as you exhale, see if you can pull yourself forward, keep that straight back. If you feel you can reach the foot, then go right ahead and reach for the foot, hold on to the foot, or the leg. If you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can grab the leg, you can put your hands on the floor, do whatever works best for you. Just focus on keeping that long spine, hinging from the hips. Breathing on the exhale, pull the belly button in, creating space. I'm going to show you something you can do here to help deepen it if you can go further. Is you can use your block on the bottom of your foot here, like I'm showing you. You can use your block to help deepen the stretch a little bit further if you're able to go this far. If you're still at the point where you're using the strap, then don't even worry about it. You'll get there at some point. Just focus on where you're at. I'm just showing you different levels. Inhaling, feel the expansion. Exhaling, belly button in, allow yourself to go deeper. Good. Holding it here. Always do what feels good for you. Okay. Coming up and out of that, we're just going to switch sides. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. Grab your strap if you need it. If not, go ahead. Hinging forward. Grab your block if you're at that stage. Grab your foot. Grab your leg, wherever you were on the other side. See where you are on this side. And one side is always more flexible than the other. So if you're feeling a little tighter on that side or on this side, that is okay. That's totally normal. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Allow yourself to go a little bit deeper. Find that place where you can hold the stretch. Focusing on the breath. You can even close your eyes and just really focus on how you're feeling. Notice where you feel the stretch. You might feel it all into the back, into the hip. You might feel it in different spots. That is okay. Relax. Stretch. Good. We'll come out of that. And bring both feet together into our bound angle or butterfly pose. And just hold on to the toes. You can kind of bounce the legs up and down if that feels good. You can sway from side to side if you like doing that sort of thing. If you don't want to do any of that, that's okay. You can just sit up nice and tall and just enjoy the stretch. Another thing you can do is place blocks or pillows or something underneath the legs if you find that your legs aren't getting enough support with just the floor. But I encourage you not to press on the legs. Some people will try to press their legs down to deepen the stretch, and that can be very damaging to your hip joints. So don't do that. So now if you want to lean forward to deepen the stretch, go right ahead. Just don't press into the legs. You can reach the hands forward if you like. You can keep your hands on the toes and just hold on to the feet. whichever feels best, and then just inhaling deeply, feel the expansion. Exhale, pull that belly button in. And you can add that swaying from side to side here if you like again, if that felt good. I find it helps stretch out my hips a little bit more, so I enjoy it. Just continuing to focus on the breath. Try to keep that length in the spine. Try to avoid slouching if you can. And we'll inhale, rolling up. Exhale, keep the lift, and we're just going to add a twist here. Just holding onto your toes, or you can grab the knee, looking behind you in one direction. Keeping the lift, keeping that tall seated posture as you twist. Breathing gently. Good. We'll release, and we'll just gently go over to the other side. Exhaling as we go, keeping the lift. Exhaling, relaxing. Keep lifted as you twist. Good. And we'll release. We'll add a side stretch here. So just hold on to the toes with one hand. Inhale, raise the other arm. Just find that place where it feels good. So the arm might stay up towards the ceiling. You might not go quite as far as I am. That's okay. If you want to put a block under the arm that's on the floor to help prop you up, that's an option. Or you can use your chair. If the arm reaching up is sore, you can kind of bring it down to just holding onto your ribs or onto your hip. You'll feel the stretch. Just do what feels good. You'll feel the stretch all up the side of the body into the hip. And we'll come out of that side. We'll inhale, raise the other arm up. Exhale, reach overhead or keep reaching for the ceiling, whatever feels good. Keeping the length as you do this, keeping that lift. Try not to sink into the pose. Remain lifted. Breathing, feel the expansion in the side of the body. Good. And we'll gently come up to a seated position. And we're going to bring the feet forward, stretching both legs forward, going into a full forward stretch. Now, if you can reach your toes or your feet, go right ahead. If you need a strap, again, use your strap around the balls of your feet to help pull you forward. Or just go ahead and grab onto your legs like you did earlier if that's what you were doing. Another option here, if you want, you can put your chair in front of you and you can kind of just lean onto your chair if this works for you. And if that doesn't work for you, don't do it. That's okay. Just find that place where you can kind of put the chair and where it can be most beneficial to you and most helpful, if that's what you want to do. If not, just keep your chair off to the side and do whichever variation of this stretch you like best. And breathing into it. Exhale, let the head fall forward. Let the body just come right forward. And again, if you have that full reach, you can go ahead and add a block to help deepen the stretch. Exhale, pull that belly up button in, creating space. Feels good. Close the eyes and focus on the stretch. Focus on what the body's telling you. Good. We're going to come out of that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bring the chair in front of us. And we're going to lay down using the chair for support. So you're going to rest your legs up on your chair and lay flat on the floor and find that place where the chair is comforting for your lower back. Now, if you don't want to use the chair, you don't have to. This is just an option if you struggle with your lower back. If you want to lay flat on the floor, you could do that too. Whichever you decide to do, you're going to lay down, rest. Your palms are going to face the ceiling. And you're going to breathe, taking one last deep inhale here. Feel the belly rise up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let the belly button come closer towards the spine, completely releasing. And now just let the breath go back to normal. Find that sense of deep relaxation here. Take a moment to notice if you're holding any tension anywhere and just breathe into it. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, relax. Just notice your mind. If you have any thoughts going through your mind, just let the thoughts pass by. Don't let them bother you in any way. There's no negative or positive thinking here. They're just thoughts. And just let them pass by like little clouds in the sky, just floating by. Just kind of give them that notice that they're there, but don't force them. Don't force them to leave. Don't force them to stay. Just let them be. And if you can clear your mind, then do that. But if not, that's okay. Just breathe into it. Relaxing even deeper, feeling completely supported by the floor. Any moments that you need to take to readjust, that is okay. Lay still. Allow your body to just soak in everything it just learned, giving it time for that deep sense of relaxation. Just enjoy this time to just lay still. The mind is at ease. Finding that place where that body can be completely relaxed. If you ever need pillows or blankets for support in this relaxation time, that's okay too. The point is to try and find that place where you can be completely relaxed. The eyes are at ease. Face. Notice if you're holding any tension in the face and let it go. The forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. And you can remain here as long as you like. If you want to stay here a little bit longer, you go right ahead and do that. But if you're ready to come up and out of the relaxation, then take your time, coming out of the pose to come up to that nice seated position, nice and tall. Taking one last deep inhale. Notice yourself feeling taller. Notice if you're still holding tension anywhere. Breathe into it. Relax. And I thank you for joining me for this session. I hope this has been beneficial for you. I hope you're feeling stretched out. And I hope that you'll join me again sometime. Namaste.